Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Vote Prep Blueprint 2026. We are delighted to have you with us for this important session focused on Class 12th Mathematics, a subject that is critical for your academic growth and success in the CBSE exams. I'm Yogendra Singh, and I'll be your host for this session. As we move closer to the board exams, it's time to sharpen your problem solving skills, understand key question formats, and perfect your paper presentation strategies to align with the CBSE expectations. We are incredibly fortunate to have with us today Mr. Neelmani Srivastava, an esteemed alumnus of IIT Kanpur and the founder of ISAC, known for his dynamic teaching style and subject expertise. Mr. Srivastava is widely regarded as the James Bond of physics for his deep understanding and ability to bring complex topics to life. With over 18 years of teaching experience, he has mentored more than 50 students who has secured top 100 AIRs and hundreds more who ranked in the top 500 in the JEE examinations. Tonight, Mr. Srivastava will walk us through time efficient strategies for tackling both long and short term form questions, explore smart revision tools, and show us how to structure our answers to avoid common mistakes and maximize our scores. Before we get started, a quick reminder about our session. Please ensure your microphones are muted. You can share your questions in the chat and we'll address them at the end of the session. Mr. Neenvali Srivastava, we are excited to have you with us today. Over to you, sir.
Do you guys find me audible and now visible?
Perfectly audible and visible, sir. Yeah, we
Thank you
can.
very much. Thank you very much. Ah. Hello, everyone. As Sir has already introduced me, my name is Neelmani Srivastava, and I'm here in Kota training for ITJ and NEET examination. I actually take physics subject. I worked as a head of department also in Allen Career Institute. Right now, I'm director of ISEC Learning. So, what we are going to talk about today is the changing pattern of board examination because policymakers are trying that the board examination will be at par with the competitive examinations. It means if you qualify in board examination, your result will directly reciprocate in your competitive examination. So they are pulling some difficult questions, difficult in the sense which needs understanding of subject. Is not a purely formula based question. Even in maths, it was never the case that the rote learning will work. You have to understand maths, then only you can solve the questions. But it would not be directly application based question. Directly application based question. For example, nobody will ask you to find out the integration of sine x directly in this particular case, because this is not a directly formula based question. There are some kind of ambiguity will be there and deep understanding will be involved, which actually happens in J mains examination. So it is also good advice right now. I mean, along with solving questions for board preparation, if you can manage to see questions of J mains PYQs also, then it would very helpful for you. You just go through the solution and understand what is being solved, how it is being solved, because sometimes direct questions from J mains can come appear in this board examination. So it is a very small help hint to you guys that you have to start solving those J mains PYQs also. So before going to start, I really want to talk about, first of all, I want to talk about the one thing which I didn't like is that in August, we have conducted a quiz and nobody who have appeared in the maths examination have performed well enough so that it can be rewarded. So nobody was rewarded in maths quiz last time. But I really want to at least now buckle up and start working hard, because if you really want to qualify your board examination with good marks and you want to crack exams like IDJ and mains, maths is the bottleneck. Maths is a bottleneck. Mathematics is very much important. So please work hard solve each and every question, see exemplar, see rapid revision program. We have chosen some good questions from rapid revision. In rapid revision, we have written the short notes there. You can use those short notes and we can discuss everything here. Now, before हम बात करने वाले हैं इसकी क्या करना है हमें, तो इसके लिए मैं अपने कुलीग रेहान को भी साथ में इनवाइट करूंगा एंड वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस अबाउट मैथमेटिक्स कि कैसे हम अच्छा स्कोर कर सकते हैं, कैसे हम प्रिपरेशन को टाइम मैनेजमेंट। अभी टाइम मैनेजमेंट के दो एस्पेक्ट हैं, एक एग्जामिनेशन में टाइम मैनेजमेंट और एक अभी टाइम मैनेजमेंट। अभी हम कैसे अपने टाइम को यूटिलाइज करें, बिकॉज साइंस है, मैथ्स है, इंग्लिश है, ये साइंस है, मैथ फिजिक्स है, केमिस्ट्री है, मैथ्स है, इंग्लिश है, उसके अलावा एक और भी सब्जेक्ट होगा, आई डोंट नो व्हाट सब्जेक्ट यू हैव टेकन, पर तो हमें बहुत सारी चीजें करनी है। तो टाइम मैनेजमेंट इज अ इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। ऐसा टाइम मैनेजमेंट करना है कि हम मैक्सिमाइज कर पाए अपने आउटपुट को, तो उसके लिए हम आज बात करने वाले हैं। तो सर, shall we start?
Yeah. So, if you ask any mathematics teacher, good teacher, that what I need to do to get better in mathematics, the first thing he will say to you is practice, practice, and practice. I'm going to add few more keywords to this practice, practice, and practice. Practice questions which are not same. That means solving same kind of 5 questions is not a good idea. Solve different categories and different variety of question which will give you more insight in that particular topic.
Absolutely.
Practice with time bound sessions. That means you have to sit with a clock and you have to time yourself that how much time you are taking in solving long questions, right, sir? And last practice, I'll say that you have to make a system that you have to practice regularly. 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 1 week vacation, summer vacation, you are doing maths, then you left the maths part, it is not going to work. So you have to practice daily. So these three things which I would like to share, and I would like to start with. Sir, learn to write answers the maximum to maximize your score. How to do that?
Okay. So for in board examination, presentation is very much important. I mean, only getting answer for the long type question is not important. In obviously MCQ question, you just need to write down the answer. But in long type questions, you have to show each and every step. Even when there was a time, and believe me, sometimes you might find that for a good question, there is only one way. It is not the case. For a good question, there may be multiple ways. If after completing your exam, your friend told you that I also got the answer and you also got the answer, but your approaches are different, that doesn't mean one of your approach is wrong. For a good question, there may be multiple approaches. For a particular question, I believe those days in IITs, when there was subjective pattern was there. And in there, they have come up with, when before evaluating the answer sheet, they have multiple type of possible solutions they kept in front of them. This might be correct, this might be correct, this might be correct. In mathematics also, so never ever think of that, but whatever you are doing, just elaborate it clearly. This is the method. This is the method you are saying. Never ever say कि ये board teachers नहीं जानते थे. They understand your method. They will understand your method. At least you have to explain everything clearly, that why you are doing this, what is the logic behind this. So whenever you are writing a step and you're doing something, then show every step. And this is the only way you can maximize your numbers, maximize your marks, because presentation is very much important. Presentation is very much important. And if we have sections, हमारे पास आ रहे हैं, तो उन sections में हम जब सवालों को solve कर रहे होते हैं, तो उन sections में बेसिक आइडिया क्या है, पहले तो हमें एक बार गो थ्रू करना ही चाहिए पेपर को गो थ्रू कर लिया, फिर जो भी सेक्शंस हमारे पास हो उन सेक्शंस को हमें प्रॉपरली एक एक करके सॉल्व करना चाहिए, और सेक्शन वाइज में कितना समय लगना चाहिए इसको हम एक प्रैक्टिस होनी चाहिए। सर ने जैसे कहा कि हमें पीवाईक्यूज की प्रैक्टिस कर लेनी चाहिए, प्रीवियस टेस्ट को टाइम बाउंड प्रैक्टिस की जरूरत है। फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू वांट टू सॉल्व 10 odd questions of single correct option type, then you have to fix your timer, just set a timer, I'll solve them in 15 minutes, something like that. And then this is the way you can maximize you can reach to your highest potential, because reaching to your highest potential before going in the real exam, you have to mock it several times, such that the real exam will look like another mock, and it would be a cakewalk. But if you want practice it large, if you want practice it before going into exam, it would be very difficult for you to manage the time. Time management is a very important point, isn't it, sir?
Yes, sir. So we start with reading time, which is 15 minutes. And in that 15 minutes, you have to scan all those questions. Now, there's one good thing about mathematics paper, sir. The moment you look at some question, you'll get perfect idea whether you can do it or not. So if you get, like in physics and chemistry, there are some numericals which you will look at and you'll see, I know the formula, but I don't know whether I'll get the answer or not. Right?
Yeah.
It's in mathematics, you'll get proper idea that yes, this I can do, this I know the formula and I know how to apply it. Right?
If you have practiced enough.
If you have practiced enough.
Because maths is all about pattern recognition. There are some patterns of solving question. For example, if there is an integration of 1 upon under root a square minus x square, then you know the pattern. This kind of expression, whenever this kind of expression will come, we have to assume x equal to a sine theta. We have to assume x equal to a sine theta. This is a pattern. This is a pattern, and pattern recognition will be in hand if you have practiced a lot. If you have practiced a lot, you can recognize each and every pattern. In integration, pattern recognition is the most important thing. But not only in integration, even in every chapter, if you go for probability also, there are certain kind of questions which are there certain methods to solve these questions. You have to understand the language. You have to have after reading the language, you have to understand that yes, this is a similar kind of question. It is a question based on Bayes theorem, something like that. So this will come only if you have practiced enough. Maths cannot, जैसे सर ने कहा कि every good teacher say practice, 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 और सर ने उसको 3 पार्ट में elaborate किया. बिना practice के, बिना बार-बार काम किए, it is not possible to get excellent marks in mathematics. Even you see for the JEE Mains examination, if there are 25 questions in physics, 25 in maths, if you solve 24 question, then you will get all 25 question, you will get 99.999, almost 100 percentile. 25 करने पड़ेंगे. But in maths, even you solve 8 question, you will get more than 99 percentile.
Correct.
If you solve 8-9 question, you will get more than 99 percentile. So this is the scenario. So maths is a difficult subject, undoubtedly. And as boards is approaching towards competency-based question, what does that mean? It might be difficult. I'm not trying to frighten you guys. I'm not trying to say that you are not able to solve this question. And but the thing is that if you practice, if you remember all the formulas, if you practice well, and for that you can use the rapid revision program, a book for the Chand, आप जो हमारी book है उसको use कर सकते हैं. You can see there are some questions, some tricks, some methods are given which are totally acceptable in board preparation. Sir.
So now there is section-wise plan. You have to invest 15 minutes in 1 mark section A question. Then you have to invest 25 minutes in section B, 2 marks question, then section 3 marks, 45 minutes. Now finally D, which is 5 mark question number of question will be less, but there are 5 marks question. That means you have to work out a lot more than 1 mark question or 2 mark question. So we have given it 60 minutes, sir. Last 15 minutes is there for review, and there is an important note written just beside it: solve what you know first. So all the question in this 15 minutes, when you are scanning the question, you will mark all the easy question. Easy in the sense that you know how to do it, how to solve it, right? And come back to the tricky ones later. This is very, very much important. If you start with tricky ones, that I'm born and I'll tackle the most hardest question of the paper first, then what will happen? There might be a possibility that when you try tricky question, you will not get the answer. Your confidence, your morale will go down, your nervousness will go up, and you are prone to make more mistakes.
Absolutely.
Throughout the paper. So our goal, you need to understand the goal of of this session, that you have to maximize your marks in the final paper of mathematics. You have to maximize your marks, and as sir said, that you have to practice, and 3 hours efficiently. There are students, sir, who do not have the habit of sitting alone for 3 hours.
Very important.
Leave. They have to solve also the mathematics part in 3 hours. Like students like me, I have never practiced like sit for 3 hours and solve mathematics question. That was the first time in board paper that I was sitting for 3 hours and doing all these questions. So don't repeat what mistake I've done. 1 month or 2 months back, the your final paper, you have to make a strategy that I have to sit every alternate day for 3 hours doing solving mathematics problems.
Yeah, my strong suggestion from now is that at least you have to write 10 3-hour session for maths, 10 for physics, 10 for chemistry, at least 10 3-hour sessions before going to for the real examination, because it is also very important, because these days it is also because when you practice, actually what scientists says, ki our attention span cannot, even we are a brilliant intelligent guy, our attention span cannot exceed more than 25 minutes. 25 minutes is the maximum limit. So obviously if you practice, then you will learn the art of revitalize yourself after 25 minutes. You will understand that this is the way I have to perform in the examination. You have to sit for 3 hours. Please make sure that you will give 10 tests for mathematics, 10 tests for physics, 10 tests for chemistry, 3 hour session, at least 10, at least 10, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए 10 टेस्ट हमें देने ही चाहिए.
Moving on, prioritize high weightage topics. That means the focus area. Focus areas means there are certain areas which we have figured out that from these areas, more and more questions are coming every year. First is relations and functions. 8 marks is short coming from this section. So you have to pay more attention to these topics. So you must have a priority list that if you have to revise before your exam, these are the topics which I'll take first, which are priority first chapters and topics. Like here it mentioned relation and functions, then algebra, matrices and determinants. It is relatively simple, easy topic, matrices and determinant, and the weightage is high, 10 marks. So you should go for matrices and determinants first if you are revising it. Then calculus 35 marks, then vector 3D geometry 14 marks, probability 8 marks. Spend 70% of your time on calculus, algebra, and 3D topics because these topics will give you a strong foundation in competitive exams as well. This calculus will come in physics also, in chemistry also. So you will get an edge on those topics, on those papers, question papers also. Right, sir?
Yeah. Actually, if you see, the calculus is the backbone of 12th class mathematics. I mean, calculus is the absolutely new thing and absolutely important part of mathematics, what we learn in 12th class. And it is being asked with that capability also. I mean, if you see, the weightage of calculus is the highest. So you have to spend much more time, because there are different, calculus is not a single chapter. Calculus is something big. I mean, in calculus, you have to go from limits, differentiation, continuity, AOD, application of derivative, integration. You have to go with definite integration. A lot of things are there, but it is very, very patternable thing. I mean, there are very fixed patterns in calculus. If you understand those patterns, if you understand each and every kind of pattern in calculus, you can do very well. तो आपको थोड़ा समय calculus में सबसे ज्यादा समय invest करना चाहिए. Please calculus में ज्यादा समय invest करिए. Probability is something. Probability we are not mentioning here that you have to spend most of the time on the probability, because probability is something. It will not come by spending more time. It is spending with the, I mean, it is basically based on the understanding. Once you understand the concept of probability, there is no need to solve so many questions. So many questions solved, solution is not required. In calculus, as I said, there are patterns. So you have to make sure that these patterns fits in your mind, and patterns will fit in your mind if you practice. That's why they say spend more time in calculus. Why? Because pattern recognition will come only if you practice more. In probability, pattern recognition is not there. There are some concepts, there's some understanding. If you understand it well, then you need not to practice a lot. You can solve it or you cannot solve it. This will be a situation. So by practicing a lot, it cannot guarantee that you are going to get good marks. You can solve the question of probability. If you understand it well, it will guarantee when you practice less, you can solve question of probability. So probability is something, even in the same way, relation and function, then marks are also less, and relation and function is something, they are very straightforward things. You know what does this function mean, what does relation mean, what is bijective mean, what does injective mean, what is the condition for a function to be 1 and onto, or what is the condition for it to define inverse function of any particular function, where function and its inverse function cuts. There are some standard set of rules, you follow it. But in calculus, patterns will be there. So vector 3D geometry has a good weightage. It is a difficult thing. Why it needed practice? Because it is a chapter of visualization. Because in 3-dimensional, because we generally draw the diagram on the 2-dimensional page. I mean, because we have to solve everything on the notebook or on the board. So it is a 2-dimensional thing. But we have vectors in 3D will be a imagination of 3D word, and it will help you not only here in the board examination, it will help you later in life when you pursue science or maths later in your life. It will help you a lot. So vector in 3D geometry has a good weightage, and it needs more time to understand. Vector in 3D, calculus need more time for practice. Algebra is scoring, matrices and determinants are there. You have to understand how determinants are used, what kind of questions are there. In this case also, patterns are there. Patterns can be recognized only by practicing it. So that's why पैटर्न रिकॉग्निशन के लिए इसका और इसका यूज करना पड़ेगा. अंडरस्टैंडिंग में इसका समय लगेगा, प्रोबेबिलिटी की अंडरस्टैंडिंग में समय कम लगता है. आ गया तो ठीक, नहीं आया तो कुछ भी नहीं उखड़ेगा. ये बात याद रखिए. इसके स्टैंडर्ड मेथड्स हैं रिलेशन एंड फंक्शन के, तो इसके लिए इस बारे में हमने बात की. मूविंग अगेन सर, आगे बढ़ते हैं. कैसे कॉम्प्लेक्स सवाल कैसे सोचे जाए,
कॉम्प्लेक्स सवाल कैसे सोचे जाए, मैं अभी इसके बिना ही, अगर इफ आई वांट टू शेयर समथिंग, एज आई सेड दैट वी नीड टू वर्क ऑन पैटर्न रिकॉग्निशन. I also want to put it into a different words, that we have to be instinctive about the problems. Now, what is the meaning of being instinctive? There should be in your instinct. Like for an example, Virat Kohli's coach will tell him that if the fast bowler will give this kind of ball, you have to move the bat like this. You have to put your front foot in first, then you have to do this, and if this kind of ball will come, you have to play this kind of shot. So when he's let's say he's playing the finals of World Cup, and the fast bowler is throwing the ball, he'll not open his diary and see that in this kind of situation what kind of shot I have to play. He practiced a lot in nets, and he developed an instinct in his body that when he sees that ball is coming at such speed and at such angles, his body will automatically react and go like this, and automatically he play the shot. So how does he do that? He practiced a lot in his nets, and he developed an instinct about things. So in maths also, pattern recognition is basically developing that particular instinct, that if this kind of question comes, I'll automatically, as I took an example a few minutes back, that integration of 1 by under root a square plus x square, you will instinctively know that you have to take x is equals to a sine theta. So that's what you have to do. Smart approach, break down the question into smaller steps. This is the most fundamental thing which you can do in learning anything, any subject. This is not for maths only. You have to remember, you have to know that any big question or big problem, you should break it down into smaller pieces, smaller steps. That first of all, I'll do this, then that. All the problems have similar nature of going from point A to point B. That you will be given something, and you have to you have to find something, right? And then you have to create a bridge between these 2 points. Now, this bridge you will create by it can be some formula, it may be some understanding, it may be application of different formulas that will create the bridge. So break down the question that, okay, first we have to go from A to C, then C to D, then D to E, then you will go to B. So it's a smart approach. Always break it down into smaller steps, then identify the concept involved. You have to, first of all, just by looking at the question, you should know from which chapter it is coming, from which part of the chapter it is coming, and all the integral important formulas involved in that particular concept. Then substitute value, or simply algebraically, if the question demands sometimes what will happen, that directly putting values, substituting values, you will get the answer. So you have to try that approach also sometimes. Another thing is write every step neatly. Stepwise marking matters. This is a very important part when we teach students in competitive background, competitive environment. They forget how to write answers. So 3 months from boards, we have to tell them, okay, now you have to write everything properly, because obviously they get very few pages of rough work when they go in competitive exams like JEE, NEET, and other exams. They will get very less number of pages to do their rough work, right? So we have to again tell them that, okay, now boards are coming, then you have to write it properly, neatly, make your diagrams, think about margins. Last but not the least, cross check with formula sheet. You have to make a formula sheet and you have to cross check everything beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely correct, sir. As you have explained this very well, ki how to solve the complex problem. I'll take an example and then explain ki what we can do in that particular question.
Perfect.
For example, if we have a question in a factory, in a store, grains are store में grain store की जा रही है. In a store, grains are collected. This is the question of differential equation. It's a good question. Grains are collected. I'm writing this question ताकि समझ में आए. With constant rate a kg per second, let's say. वहां पे a kg per second grains are being collected. ये हमें दिया हुआ है. And insects are destroying these grains with a rate proportional to amount of grain with proportionality constant K. I'm writing this question in front of you so that you can understand what this question says. Find grain amount as a function of time. So this question is a standard question of differential equation. Now there are things happening. Grains collect की जा रही हैं और grain destroy भी हो रही है, साथ साथ सब कुछ हो रहा है. तो हमें ये बात समझ में आना चाहिए. इफ वी अंडरस्टैंड, ब्रेक दिस क्वेश्चन, अलग अलग करते हैं. अगर सिर्फ ग्रेन स्टोर करी जा रही होती, यानी हर सेकंड 1 kg स्टोर की जा रही होती, तो इसको हम कैसे लिखते हैं? व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रेट? अगर मैं ग्रेन को जी से रिप्रेजेंट करूं, तो ग्रेन अगर स्टोर की जा रही है, यानी ग्रेन का अमाउंट बढ़ रहा है, किस रेट से? 1 kg पर सेकंड से. तो स्टोर करने वाले पार्ट को मैं सिर्फ लिख सकता हूं, सिर्फ पहले पार्ट को मैंने ब्रेक डाउन किया, पहले पार्ट को समझा. मैंने कहा स्टोर अगर हो रही होती तो डी ग्रेन बाई डी टी इज इक्वल टू ए लिखा होता. डी ग्रेन बाई डी टी इज इक्वल टू ए लिखा होता, एंड वी राइट इट लाइक जी ग्रेन बाई डी टी इज इक्वल टू ए. और दूसरा, जब इंसेक्ट उन्हें, ये अलग लिखा मैंने, इंसेक्ट उन्हें डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहे हैं विद द रेट प्रोपोर्शनल टू द अमाउंट ऑफ ग्रेन विद प्रोपोर्शनलिटी कांस्टेंट लैम्डा. यानी कि दूसरे केस में लिखा हुआ है कि dg बाई dt, क्योंकि ग्रेन डिक्रीज हो रही है तो माइनस लिखा, माइनस लैम्डा g. तो ये भी हो रहा है, ये मैंने अलग से देखा, ये भी हो रहा है, मैंने अलग से देखा. in this question, what is happening? In this question, both the processes are taking place at the same time. It is being destroyed and it is being collected at the same time in the store. So in this case, we'll write dg by dt, दोनों चीजें हो रही हैं, then we'll write it is equal to a minus kg. And as you write this equation, you can solve this differential equation by variable separable method. The most important thing was to write down this. Sometimes if you see in the differential equation question where you have to take the steps in the question, that this is the thing which is happening. For example, they will say some kind of questions ki it is the find out the locus of parabola, foot of the normals of a parabola, given parabola. So you have to just find out the equation and you just have to write out the correct equation. Whatever is being said, you just have to find out. And sir ने एक और बात बोली थी वहां पे, अगर हम देखें कि substitute values or simplify algebraically. तो सब्स्टिट्यूट वैल्यू का क्या मतलब होता है? जैसे कुछ पैटर्न्स हमें पता होने चाहिए, हमें पता होना चाहिए कि ln 1 प्लस x का एक्सपेंशन क्या होता है. इट इज x माइनस एक्स स्क्वायर बाई 2 प्लस एक्स क्यूब बाई 3. ये सारे एक्सप्रेशंस हमें पता होने चाहिए. Sometimes you will see there are some answer like 1 minus 1 by 2, 1 by 3. If you put x equal to 1, this term become 1 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 minus 1 by 4 and so on. And right side, it is simply ln 2. So these kind of questions, in objective questions, this trick works very well by putting the value. For example, somebody has given an expression that it proved that it is true for any, is it true for any general n? ये चेक करना है. तो just put the value of n equal to 1 and 2 and 3, and if you see that it is finding okay, it is not satisfying, it is satisfying, whatever is happening, then only you can guess your result. Yes, it is happening for every n, because it is just a kind of way that we can evaluate our answer just by putting some values. This is a very good practice for multiple choice questions where you just need to write down the answer. You by substituting values, you can get the answer. For example, some questions are there in variable in terms of x. But you can say, for example, somebody says ki I have there are two particles of length ratio 3:7. 3:7, and they're asking ratio is only in the question. Two lengths are in the ratio 3:7. Assume it is a 3 meter, assume it is a 7 meter. Don't write 3x, 7x because it will complicate the question. So write it 3 meter, 7 meter, you'll get the correct answer because you are not defying any condition what he has given. And then if you're not defying any condition, you can solve that question by that matter. So this is very, very important thing. And obviously board is there, so you have to write everything neatly. Stepwise marking matters in maths at least, because if you are not able to reach the correct answer finally, at least you will get marks for the steps. Even in JEE examination also, when subjective was there, step marking was given.
And sir, when you say write every step neatly, I want to make emphasis on the writing part. You should have good handwriting. Only writing can create hell lot of difference in your final marks. So you should write in good handwriting. Moving on, presentation equals to marks. That's what I was saying, that you have to present your ideas. So like what I have seen from my experience, that the teachers who are checking all the mark sheets, I'll give you an industry secret insider, that in first 3-4 pages, I've also checked board mark sheets, right, sir? So in first 3-4 pages, the teacher will just judge you on the basis of first 3-4 pages. Okay, this is a good student copy, and he'll start giving you marks based on the first impression.
Absolutely.
And if in first 2-3 pages you are cartoing, you are making rough things, and you are the handwriting is bad, he will get an impression that this is not a copy of a good student, this is a copy of a backbencher. And where you have write all the correct answers at the back of the answer sheet, in those questions, 5 marks question also, you will get 3 marks because your impression is bad now. Because you need to understand the psychology of examiner. He is sitting there to earn money, and how he get good amount of money when he will be able to check more copies. So he was doing it very fastly, as fast as he can. So he's not emotional creature there. He's a machine there sitting checking your copies. He wants to create a revenue for himself by the end of the day. So he'll pay attention for first 3-4 pages. He'll get some idea from his experience that this is a copy of good student, and he'll keep on that like judging part, and he'll wrap it up very quickly. So this is a very important point for you. First 3-4 pages show that person that you are a good student. Doesn't matter what you are doing all year around and where you are sitting in the class. You just have to create that impression by either by your good handwriting, your margins, your examples, your diagrams. You have to do everything. Everything in your paper should look pristine. Always starts with a formula. Use proper symbols, notation, and steps. Underline final answers. This is a very good strategy.
Put it in a
because
box,
sometimes
actually.
they will not see the final answer. They will cut the step marks that final answer was not there. So you have to put a square or a block or underline that final answer. For theorem and proofs, use a statement clearly, hence prove this was the statement, this was given, this you have to prove, then the derivation, then hence proved. Everything clearly. Avoid overwriting or scratching answers. What is the meaning of overwriting, sir?
So sometimes, for example, I was writing nation, then N T और E लिख दिया मैंने. This is overwriting.
Okay.
This is what is supposed not to do. If you have just cut it and write it properly. Because if there are these kind of marks in there, it looks very clumsy, and he will get irritated.
And the copy checker will not be interested.
As you said, sir, the first 3-4 pages are very important, because I'll take my own example in class 10th boards. In mathematics, I used to write everything very clearly. In a last question, there was a question. There was a tower, and there was a flag over the tower. The height of the tower was given 50 meters. I remember, because it was a nightmare that time for me. And there was a flag on this, and its height is not given. Let's say I assume it X, and they are asking what is the height of the top of point of the flag from the ground. I assumed it as a X. They have in boards, they are very strict ki ye nikalna, and I solved this question, and I find out the value of X, and I just wrote X is equal to 3 meters. Let's say if the answer was X equal to 3 meters. Otherwise, I have to give the answer 53 meters.
Correct.
53 meter answer has to be written.
But you only calculated X.
So I was thinking I will definitely lose 1 or 2 mark in this, because ये मैंने गलत कर दिया, मेरे 100 out of 100 नहीं आएंगे. But when my result came, it is 100 out of 100.
Because he considered that.
He considered that because he have observed me previously in the first 3 to 4 pages of that this student is a good student, and in just a silly mistake, he has done his maths is absolutely right.
Correct.
And he just forgive me, because if, for example, if my answer script was clumsy, then whenever somebody says answer is 3 meters, he immediately cut this and gives 0 in this. Because the first thing what he wants to match is answer.
Correct.
So he'd see answer is 53 meters, this guy is writing 3 meters. And then obviously answer.
If same thing would have happened to a student who messed up his first 3-4 pages, he'll not get the
marks in this particular
case.
Absolutely.
Perfect, sir. So
yes, and
the next thing is assessment and
what do you have to do now?
So what you have to do now to get good marks. So this is assessment and progress tracking. How you can track your progress, where you are right now, where you have to reach to get that kind of marks, whatever is your dream, 90%, 95%. So you have to track weekly first. First, number of chapters completed. So you must make this kind of a graph thing, or you can take one A4 sheet paper and you write the subject name and write all the chapters. Then you just have to do this. Okay, 4 chapters completed, 50% syllabus completed. Now I have this much remaining time. I have to complete this. Then you have to create a section where you will write practice of this question. Then you do practice, and then there must be some revision sections. Okay, I am done with the revision of this. I am done with the revision of this. So writing this on A4 sheet will give you immense confidence in what you are doing.
Absolutely. And all the time, do whenever you give test, you have to see that this is a very good analysis you have to do. Ki what topics, for example, you have given full length test, full length board test, and you see that ki you are not performing well in integration part. Every time you are messing with this integration part, then your test performance satisfactory or not, there should be numbers. You just number yourself. You know yourself ki out of 10 how I am doing. There is no need to show it to anybody. This is for your personal use. You understand if you're giving 10 to yourself, you know that you understand that you are doing phenomenally well in this particular exam. And if you're giving 5 in this calculus part, in integration part, then you think that you understood there only after looking at this sheet that यार मुझे और practice करने की जरूरत है क्योंकि तभी मेरा काम चलेगा. तो ये self evaluation is very very important.
In this journey, there will come a time when syllabus is completed. Now there are pre-boards, then finally there are boards.
Absolutely.
And people will tell you, start revising the things, start revising chapters. At that point of time, what you will do? You'll start with chapter 1, then 2, then 3. No, you'll take out the sheet and you'll see where I am lacking. So for that, accuracy percentage in test is very important. So if you are performing bad in few particular chapters, you will pick those chapters first. You have to complete. So here they have given this system where green, yellow, and red. Red are the chapters which need your attention. So first of all, you in revision time, you will connect with these chapters first. Then you'll go to yellow ones, then you'll go to green ones, because in green ones you are already doing great. So at that time, it will be very helpful for you to make these kind of strategies and sheets. Time taken per paper, you have to write time taken per paper, weak areas list. So in calculus also, there must be few areas in which you have to take precautions. You have to give more importance to that particular area in terms of practice. All the topics are not equal in one chapter. Also, few topics if you see PYQs, previously year questions, in few topics are favorites of PYQs. That means more number of PYQs every other year are coming from those topics. So you have to make sure there must be some priority list. Okay, these topics are really very important. I cannot skip these topics. And there are less prioritized chapters which you can skip for now, and you can take it later. Use self-evaluation sheets. These are self-evaluation sheets and topic-wise test logs.
Even this evaluation sheet we are saying you just have to write down कि हाँ इस टेस्ट में मेरा अच्छा है. बहुत ज्यादा complicated ऐसा कोई you need to maintain a file for this. Multiple pages file need not to be there. A single sheet you can write everything. Just make 3-4 columns. If you say this is suggested, what are the topics? What is the status? You have read it, you have revised it, you have practiced it. What is the confidence level? What is score kind of score? The 4-5 columns are more than sufficient, and you just
to give you rough idea that where you stand.
Absolutely. Short notes is very much important, sir. What do you suggest about it?
So short notes, from my experience, you should make your own short notes. Anyways, we are giving it to you with S-Chan, but these notes are general notes, suits everybody. But from experience, I can tell you, you should make your own notes, because all the children are different individuals. Their mind works on different levels. Their mind are made up of different things, and they produce different results in different scenarios. So you are an individual, and you should know that what is the thing which you will forget in the exam. So that thing you have to mention in your short notes. So your short notes will also be different from others, right? In that sense. So we have already given you the short notes in S-Chan. This is short note toolkit, where all the important things will be there. These are the general things which you need. If you are not, if you do not have this habit of making short notes after every chapter, you can take these notes and you can add small things here and there, that okay, I need to remember this also. I forget this part also in this particular equation or theorem. So I'll mention here that, okay, this is also very important when you are revising this particular chapter.
And even if you are not able to understand that what exactly you want to write, you have to write in the short notes. What you can do, you can rewrite this short note in your handwriting. Sir's point of view is very, very important. If you have written it yourself, then it will last ever. I mean, it will remain in your mind for long. If you will just read it through, this written, it obviously you have read it, because everything is given in short. Test for continuity, because this is the standard question which will come. How to find out right hand derivative, this is the standard question will come. How to find out this, the formula of all kind of derivatives, which was obviously we haven't taken, but our formulas are given. But write it in your own language, in your own words. आपको ये फिर से वापस लिखना पड़ेगा कि आप हिंदी में लिखिए कि कंटिन्यूटी का टेस्ट, अगर इन तमिल में लिखिए, आप तेलुगु में लिखिए, मलयालम में लिखिए, जिस भी लैंग्वेज में आपको कंफर्टेबल हो, आप लिखिए कि जब भी ये सवाल आएगा मैं ऐसे करूंगा। जब भी मुझे पूछा जाएगा कंटिन्यूटी है कि नहीं, मुझे एक ही चीज करनी है कि लेफ्ट हैंड लिमिट और राइट हैंड लिमिट बराबर होनी चाहिए।
And there is a study also which tells you that if you learn by writing it, there is 4 times more probability that you will remember it later.
Absolutely.
4 times, guys. Rapid revision techniques. What are these rapid revision techniques? First of all, you need a vision, then you need a revision. So if you learn everything properly, you do practice in all those chapters and you remember all those important theorems, then go for revision. Don't go revision directly before revision. First recall method, create formula flashcards.
Wait, the same thing.
If you struggle in remembering the formulas, you should make flashcards. Flashcard is a very flashy word, but you just have to write formulas on paper that, okay, in this vector 3D chapter, there are certain formulas which we need, which are very typical to remember. So then you should look at those formulas after every now and then. This is a very good idea.
Sometimes it happens that taking a long page out, it would be difficult because, for example, you're traveling, you're going somewhere. It is very difficult. You're talking to someone, you have went to some party. So what you can do, there is no need to buy flashcards. Flashcards are the small cards in which some formulas are written. You can just yourself take A4 sheet and make 4 parts of A4 sheet and just write it some formula.
Flashcard is are no more. Because flashcard used to be there in our ages.
Absolutely.
Right? These days you have mobile phones, so
Absolutely.
you will get an app and you will get flashcard in that app itself. So you don't need to worry about the flashcard.
But कोशिश करें कि खुद से लिखे हुए चीजें पढ़ें, क्योंकि कई बार क्या होता है, because there are, if it is a good thing that so resources are readily available to everyone, but sometimes a lot of available resources might create confusion also. So you just believe in your teachers, your books, and make your own समरी। सर ने जैसे कहा कि आपकी हैंडराइटिंग में वो होना चाहिए, आप चाहें तो उसको छोटे छोटे लिख के रख ले, बिकॉज समटाइम्स डूइंग ट्रेडिशनल थिंग्स विल ऑल्सो एंटाइस यू टू लर्न. Because opening phone is a very challenging thing, because when they open phone, they will sometime after a while, they will start.
It's a source of distraction.
It is a source of distraction. So they start seeing Instagram reels in 5 minutes, and you will see no flashcards are there.
Next thing is maintain a one-page summary per chapter. This is the most important thing. You should start a chapter where your teacher will tell you that what you are actually going to learn after this chapter. After we are done with this chapter, what new tools will be in your hand to solve problems. So this is very important. This should be the first thing and this should be the last thing. After every chapter completion, you should write that, okay, after learning this chapter, now I am capable of doing such things in these ways. So this is very important, sir. From a long-term perspective also, if you make a habit of doing this in every subject, every chapter, your memory of those chapters and what you have learned in those chapters will greatly enhanced.
Absolutely.
Revise
At least this is something what you have to do. Every student has to do. If last 5-year question paper, you have to solve each and every question properly and see what is the question और उसको संग से देखें, standard solutions देखें. आप उन 5 साल के question को जरूर solve करें because it is the most important exercise everybody has to do. 15-minute recap before each test. Yes, it's a good idea. When you are going to test yourself, first of all, just take 15 minutes and revise everything. Okay, just feel like that is a real test. I mean, just sometimes you have seen people going to write board examination, they study in the books. It's not about they're learning something new. It is showing kind of, sometimes it is showing, a good student generally do, sometimes it is showing their consideration towards the examination. They understand the importance of the examination. They don't want to miss anything out. So this might be the reason. There is nothing to laugh about it. They are reading at the last time. They're not reading at the last time. They're just being conscious about it. Yes, there is a paper. I have to be consciously awake for this paper. So 15-minute recap is very much required. Yeah.
Then practice builds perfection. We started with this. Like जितना कम बोले उतना कम है. For this, practice builds perfection, especially for mathematics. Solve PYQs to understand exam patterns. Sir has already touched upon that. Attempt one mock paper every week. What we have suggested you that you have to do at least 10 3-hour sessions before going into the examination mode. Simulate real exam condition. How can you simulate real exam condition at your home? First of all, when you are sitting down with a paper, ask your parents, your relatives, your siblings that I am alone right now and don't disturb me. I need zero distractions while I am attempting this paper, and time yourself that, okay, in 3 hours only I have to do this, and remembering that pattern. Okay, in first 15 minutes, I'll just look at the question and mark what is easy, what is medium, what is difficult, and the next ABC section in how much time I have to perform that. So you have to practice that part also. Simulate real exam conditions, right? Use Eshan, and when you are saying simulate real exam condition, it will not be like this. Your mother is coming with a hot cup of tea and you will sipping tea and writing answers. This should not be there, right? Use Eshan rapid revision book.
For the practice purpose.
For the practice and everything we have discussed so far. Analyze mistake and redo incorrect ones. So when we teach, when we learn mathematics, we say do mistakes, but don't do the same mistake twice.
Absolutely.
If you want to get better at mathematics, there is no way that you will start doing mathematics and you will not do any mistake, right? You will do mistakes, and that is the part of the process. So don't think that, okay, I'm doing a lot of mistakes. No, you will do mistakes while you are learning. That is the very important part of the process to understand, to learn mathematics, right? But don't repeat the same mistakes. That's the goal. That should be your goal. That you have to do mistakes, but analyze those mistakes afterwards. Like a lot of people come to me, sir, in physics, and they say, sir, I have done silly mistakes. So right away, I tell them that mistakes are not silly. You are silly. Mistakes are the portals of improvement. You go into that portal and learn that where you are doing the mistake. If you analyze that mistake properly, you will not do it again. But what happens if you forget about your mistakes and you don't analyze those mistakes? You are bound to do it again in your final paper.
Absolutely. Always try to write the mistake you have done. I mean, write it in the paper. This is the mistake I have done. Because if you write it knowingly, then it will definitely train your brain that I am not going to repeat it. How serious you are about your mistake. Actually, your brain understands what you think. Even you can lie to me, you cannot lie to yourself. So if you write clearly that this is the mistake I have done, I don't want to repeat it, your brain will get trained out by itself. Nothing to worry about it. It will never do this mistake again. So that's why sir says doing mistake is not wrong, but repeating mistake is actually a sin. ये तो पाप है हमारे लिए. Moving further. So there are some examples we have taken. What kind of questions? In fact, I have already told you that J main questions has to be prepared because it may come, it may appear in your examination because it is a competency based question, and competency based questions are going to appear in board examination. So we have taken some examples. Flashcards, formula definitions, everything mind map from S. Chandra revision book. Cheat sheet. Cheat sheet means you cannot take it to examination.
So many fancy names I've seen, sir. यहाँ पे mind. What is the meaning of mind maps?
Mind maps is a kind of short note actually, sir. Okay. It's a kind of short note.
Okay, they'll give you the structure of the chapter that like in NLM you will start with force, then in force first law, second law, third law. Then
they will show the links also.
Links also. Okay, which topic is connected to which topic?
If this kind of question will be asked, this will be used. This will be used. If somebody is interested to find out the force, this will be used. Something like that.
So you'll see nodes, and you'll see important nodes which are like more connected. That means they are important in a way.
Cheat sheet is the kind of last minute preparation. It means before going to the exam. For example, tomorrow you have an exam. So today you can see the cheat sheet so that all the fundamental things will go through your eyes once just before the examination.
All the tools which we have so far to make you a better students, we have included in S chance.
Absolutely. So this is how we are ending because last thing is this confidence is consistency. You must understand this, that if you think bad about yourself, you will become bad. If you think good about yourself, you will become good. But confidence will come only with the consistency, and consistency will come with the confidence. Both are interlinked. So make sure that you consistently perform well in your exam, well in your preparation, and you feel confident about it. And obviously, if you're doing mistake, don't think that you are not able to solve question. Don't repeat those mistakes and keep working towards your goals, and definitely you are going to achieve everything in your life. Thank you very much for listening us. And thank you very much. And we really want that you do well in your board examination, not only in board examination, in your competitive exams like IIT-J Mains and IIT-J Advanced. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much, NMS sir. What an insightful session. A big thank you to Mr. Neelmali Srivastava for guiding us through essential strategies to improve problem solving speed, answer structuring, and smart revision techniques for mathematics. We hope you are now feeling more confident and prepared to tackle your mathematics exam with a clear strategy and enhanced performance. Remember, this time management, effective revision, and smart presentation can truly make a difference in your results. Before we conclude, let's take a moment to congratulate our quiz winners for their excellent performance. Your dedication and effort are inspiring. Well done. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and be sure to revisit the strategies discussed today on our YouTube channel as Chand School Education. We have more sessions lined up, so stay tuned. Thank you so much, NMS sir, and students who joined us. Thank you so much.